It's a little late in the day, but happy Vlogmas. Day 5. Figured I would cut in and tell you why there was no video yesterday. That's why today is going to be yesterday and today. Your girl was bedridden. I woke up really early with a splitting migraine, and it did not go away. I hydrated, took painkillers, had caffeine, normal food, all the solutions that normally work for my headaches. Just having none of it. So I literally laid in this bed all day long. Me and my husband watched Christmas movies when I could look at the screen, and otherwise I slept all day long. I knit approximately half a round on this hat project in the dark, and that was it. There was nothing to film, as I did not move. um, Unexpected, but unavoidable. Here we are. Now we're on day 5. And I got a bit of a late start today because I also injured my eyes in my sleep last night. Too many conditions. But once I slept in and got that fixed, I've been good. Started my day with my husband bringing me Dunkin' because I wasn't feeling good, and that always makes me happy. And then we played video games. We played Dead by Daylight for a few hours, to which I realized my eyes were not fully okay because I couldn't really see very well. We did that, and then he took a nap, and I started crocheting for the day. So, while we played Dead by Daylight, I did get a few rounds on this project, which I kind of wanted to talk about as well because I don't think I've actually said anything about this. It just kind of appeared. So yeah, significantly more ribbing than there was 2 days ago, but not a whole lot. This is probably like an inch, maybe an inch and a half. Haven't even bothered to measure it because I'm knitting to 4 inches in the ribbing. This is a design that I'm working on for a colorwork beanie. Just stranded colorwork. It's gonna be a Gemini design because I'm a Gemini and I'm kind of obsessed with my zodiac sign. Sorry, not sorry. So eventually, this will be a very pretty, hopefully, Gemini beanie, and I will be writing up a pattern for it. But I have a lot of knitting to do to test out the actual colorwork patterns and like reconfigure the designs. And this is the first time I'm knitting it up. But I cast that on probably a month ago. Don't judge me. Probably a month ago when I was writing, like when I worked up the colorwork chart, because I knew based on how many stitches were in the colorwork chart, how many stitches I needed to start the hat. So I figured I would just get the ribbing done while I figured out the rest of the chart. Chart has since been figured out, but then I started really working on Christmas gifts and I didn't really pick this back up. But the reason I picked it back up now is because I've decided to start 2 more Christmas gifts. Do not judge me. I am but a creature of habits. And I can be as prepared as I can be, but I will make another problem for myself. I started 2 new, well, no, I started 1 new project, but I'm going to be starting 2 in total. So you got a little clip of it in the last video. It's too far for me to reach right now, so sorry. But they're going to be fingerless mitts. It's a little tiny, like maybe 11-inch circumference needle. And I'm going to knit some fingerless mitts for my friend, who I'm now seeing. And they're going to be Elphaba themed. So I'm doing black cuffs and black ribbing here and on the thumb. And then the palms are going to be in like a dark green, is my thought process. And I'm knitting the Waystone Mitts by Alicia Plummer. I think that's right. It'll be right here. Um, yeah. So I just cast those on so that I could get the ribbing done on the first one, and then I can bang out a pair of those in a day if I just sit down and do it. So that's my plan, is to just sit down and bang those out after I finish some of these bigger projects. I wasn't going to cast on those mitts until I finished at least 2 more projects that I already have going. Um, but then my husband was like, let's go to IHOP. And I was like, I don't have any like knitting to take with me that's portable because I'm working on all these big blankets. And I mean, I had his socks, but I didn't want to work on them in front of him. So, so I just brought it, got a cast on, and knit like a row, a round and a half. No big deal. But then I also want to cast on another hat. I know. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. And I know which hat pattern I want to knit. It's the 2x2. I think it's free on Ravelry. I love it. I've knit it once, but I know it's going to be a good hat, and the person I'm knitting for has a particularly large head, so ribbing is the best option, and 2x2 is just my favorite for like those people who have difficulty fitting hats. And I want to use this navy blue color, and I do have extra yarn in this color, but it calls for my 6 US 6 needles, which are right here on this project. And I thought about just ripping it out and taking the needles to knit the other hat. But then I thought that'd be stupid because this is just for the ribbing, and once I get to the body of the hat, I'm going up to US 8 size needles. So why don't I just finish the ribbing, which should take me, if I just sit down and do it, not even a whole day. So sit down and knit the ribbing, and then just transfer the needles, and then I have my needles to knit a whole different hat. And then I don't lose the progress I already had on this, and I get closer to actually working on my design once all this stuff is done. It's a win-win. It's a win-win. So that is the plan there. And I've taken this from like 3 rounds up to an inch and a half of ribbing, and I'm planning to just keep knitting on it in between crocheting because it's really helping my arm to like do something else. And that's that. And once this hits the 4 inches, I will change the needles, and I'll probably cast on for the 2x2 hat, and then just work on that instead of this, if that makes sense. And then as far as now, for what I've done today, when I started crocheting, I started by joining the first column of squares for this other blanket that I'm working on. Remember, I have 3 blanket projects going right now. So this is, I know I shot a clip of it, but it was in the dark, so let me actually show it to you. So this is what it looks like. Pretty good if you ask me. I think it looks really good on camera. So yeah, 5 squares for the first column out of 4, all connected. I don't weave in my ends on the join as you go until the whole thing is connected and I'm done with like the border and everything. So I will leave this as is, and I started working on the next column worth of squares, and I got 1 done so far. So I was just sitting here while my husband was napping, crocheting in the dark. Got this done, and then started this tiny little bit of the next square before I had to cook some dinner, and then I did some laundry, some dishes, just tidying up, and now I'm set to get back into it. So yeah, that's my plan. He is out working, which means I should be working on his gifts. But I'm really feeling motivated about this particular project right now, and I think I'm just gonna stay in my groove because I'm almost done using this first skein of this light pink, and this one is starting to look real dilapidated, and I think that's just motivating me to get these skeins gone and used up. So I'm just gonna ride that high for right now. Plus, it's 2 soft yarns, so it's good on my hands. Because the Karen 1 pound is so stiff. It's so stiff. But it's really pretty. But it's so stiff. Okay. So we're just gonna work on this. We're gonna watch some YouTube and we're gonna work on this.